love it. Well, tell me a little bit about your experience. You recently had your first number one.
Yeah.
And like, how did that kind of like, tell me about writing it and then like the journey of it getting cut and blah, blah, blah. Like, how did it
Yeah.
how did it go?
I mean, I feel like I'm sitting here saying that all this is like luck. And honestly, like a lot of my stuff has been luck,
Yeah,
you know?
that's
Like,
all right.
dude, there's a.
The harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah. There's a quote by your friend Parker McCullum that I like loved. I don't know if it's his quote, actually. I'm pretty sure that it's not.
Okay.
It might be like a Michael Scott, like,
Yeah.
you know, like Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott,
Yeah.
Parker McCullum, Jimi Bell. I'll use it, you know. But he's tweeted out something. I remember this years ago, it stuck with me. But like luck favors the prepared, you know. And I think that's such a true thing. Is that you just got to show up every day, write the songs, and just leave the rest out, you know.
Yeah.
And that was one of those days with Last Night Lonely, which was thankfully recorded by Jon Pardi, who I love. I think he's awesome. I've like been a fan of his music for a long time, and but I wrote it with Dylan Marlowe and Joe Fox, and that song came about, man. You know, going back to like, you know, just showing up, like that was just like three buddies getting together and just like writing a song. We were really writing for Dylan.
Yeah.
We were trying to, I think it might have been the first time that Dylan and Joe wrote.
Really?
Yeah, which Joe works, produces Dylan. And I think actually out of that is how that agreement was kind of made, because that demo was exactly like what Dylan wanted to sound like, you know?
Oh, that's cool.
And so we actually, the first thing about that song is that there was a guitar riff. Dylan literally comes in. This is how dumb this whole business can be. like this is how dumb this can get. Can we cuss on this?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, this is how dumb this shit can get. Like, Dylan was like, man, I want a song with a baritone guitar on it. I don't know if that was a good Dylan impression, but
That's great.
Yeah, but he's like, I really want a song with a baritone guitar on it. And Joe is like, all right, well, I have a baritone guitar. And so Joe started playing this riff, and I was like, that sounds like a hit riff, you know?
Yeah.
That's a hit guitar riff. I don't know to what song, but whatever. So we start trying to write over this track. Nothing happens that day. It's like, all right, 3, 4 o'clock, let's go get a beer, you know? Call it, you know? Then we come back to it. Once again, no idea, no concept, nothing, you know? And we come back to it the next time. Maybe the title fell out. I'm not sure. But I want to say that it wasn't until the third write before that song actually happened. And every single time I was like, guys, I don't care what we do, but we're writing over this riff. This riff is the opening of a hit song.
Wow.
And the best part about that story is that when Bart Butler, who is John's producer, played me and Joe back the song, the opening riff is not the same riff. It's completely different.
Way.
So like the whole reason why the song existed didn't even make the final cut.
That's so funny.
So yeah, so they it wasn't even the same notes, and they played over violin, which I love the new riff. It's awesome. But like literally when we got out of the truck, both me and Joe looked at each other like, dude, it sounds awesome. It sounds slamming. We're like, yeah. What happened to our riff, dude? You know, because like we were like, God, I hope this still works, dude.
I
hope Bart Butler knows what he's doing,
Yeah.
you know, which he does, obviously,
he
dude.
definitely
He makes
does.
big ass records, but at the time, it was just like, oh God, dude, this riff doesn't see the light of day. So,
That's so
I know we
funny.
keep joking that we're just going to write another song over it. You know, it'll
Yeah,
just
you
be
should.
for somebody
Well,
else.
it's fertile soil,
Yeah,
clearly.
dude. I mean, it's still out there for use, but yeah, man. And so, you know, that was pitched by Dave Pakula, who was Joe Fox's publisher, who works over at Liz Rose Music, who I love all those people over there, and sent to Bart, and it was a outside pitch, outside song, and it happened to be exactly what they were looking for, you know? So, which was really cool, man. And
Did you just get a call one day that it was like, that was the single? Or?
dude, yeah. So it was actually a really cool moment when that happened, because we knew, I guess, going into, so John, like, loved the song, and they were like, hey, we're cutting this song. And this is how long this stuff can happen. I mean, I think that we were told in February of, when did it come out? 22? Yeah.
something like that.
So in February of 21, I believe, around March, we were told, hey, he's cutting the song. And
oh, wow.
so he was going to go in like April or May of that year. And I think I don't want to speak out of turn, but I want to say that he like lost his voice or something, you know? And so he didn't record it until that December. So we were just like left in limbo, like, I don't know if this is happening or not,
Yeah,
you know, for
9
like
months.
almost, a long time, you know. And so we were like, well, surely like there's been another song that's going to beat us out, you know.
Yeah.
And at this time, once again, like we just know that we think we have a cut, you know,
Yeah.
which, you know, so we knew, I guess, around December or January that it was like in the pile of songs they had cut, like 3 or 4 songs. We knew that they were going to pick a single out of that. So we knew that there was a chance, you know.
Yeah.
But literally, we were on a annual writer retreat, which you've been on multiple times in Colorado, and we were going out actually with Dylan and Joe. We're both on the plane, and we basically landed, didn't have service, and all of us had a missed call from Bart, you know, and we're like, oh, this has got to be good, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was like the first one as soon as we landed, you know, and Bart was like, hey man, you got to cut, and y'all got the single, dude.
No
and so,
way.
yeah, which was awesome, man. And like a lot of my good buddies were there, and so it was just like an awesome way to start the week, you know. And ended up sending John a thank you video that has become some notorious. I believe it's out there on the
Legendary.
internet. Yeah. It's basically to the effect of you changed our fucking lives, Jon Pardi, you know, which was really true, man. I mean, dude, like when you get a single on an artist like that, I mean, it is life-changing. It's life-changing money because, you know, the hard part is, man, it's like, you know, you do so much to write the songs and write a hit song, but
Yeah.
you know, if that artist that ends up recording it doesn't have radio at their back for whatever reason, or they just don't have the wind blowing their way right now, you know, it can be an uphill battle, you know. And so it's hard enough to write a hit song, and then it's also hard enough to connect that hit song with a hit artist, you know, and hit them at the right time where that's what they need to say. You know, sometimes, man, like you might have what I think is a hit song, but for whatever reason, that just doesn't deliver well at that moment. You know, there's so many times where, and it might just be where the market's at, right? Like you'd be surprised going back, like how many like songs you think were hits that were not number one songs at radio,
Sure.
you know? Like She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy, right? Like, which everybody
number
knows
one.
that, no, not a number one. I think died in maybe the teens or 20s, you know?
Wow.
And there's tons of those, you know, that like, that didn't even crack the top 30. And so it's a super crazy thing to happen, you know, and it's all a bit random, it seems like, you know. But once again, just like showing up and being ready to do it, you know, like even on the days, you know, I don't say this as a slight, but like riding with Joe, who was a good buddy, and riding with Dylan was not necessarily an opportunity at the time, right? Like it might not be a day that if you write and you have it on your calendar that I would have been like, gotta deliver here.
This
you know,
is the
it was,
one.
I mean, hence, you know, like it took us 3 writes and we were just like goofing around and came up with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that ended up being the song that's done the most for my family so far, you know? And so,
Change your life.
yeah, man. So it's,
I love that.
yeah, you just never know when it's going to happen, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's a testament to showing up every day and
You
working
got
as hard
to,
as
man.
you can.